Travis Wayne Goodsell. The concept of religious symbolism is lost on Mormons. The church came out with a symbolism of the Salt Lake Temple, but they skipped over certain symbols, and they didn't really define them. They just identified them. There's a difference. Symbols are not just identity markers. They're symbolic in meaning. And if you don't understand the meaning, you don't understand your religion. That's why I keep emphasizing the keystone of Mormonism is there on the Salt Lake Temple as the keystone. And you guys don't understand what that symbol means. And you don't even identify it correctly. I hear too many apologists say, oh, it's just the pentagram. No, it's inverted. And if you don't understand what that difference is, case in point. The original symbol of Mormonism was intended to be different. It's not the inverted pentagram. Technically it is, because Brigham Young took over Joseph's church and fell. This is the apostate church. So yes, in that sense, it is accurate. However, Joseph Smith's symbol for the founding of the church in the latter days is symbolized by the sunstone. Everybody knows the sunstone. It was also on the Nauvoo Temple. The sunstone is Omega in ancient Greek, Paleo-Greek. I'm the one who deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. Paleo-Greek is from the same source alphabet. It is not Semitic. And if you don't know what Semitic is, think Mesopotamian, where the Jews were held in captivity, and then a post-captivity Jew that wrote the Torah. And if you understand Mesopotamian culture and how it's different from Egyptian, you can see the Mesopotamian influences in the Bible. And the Jews today are assimilated into Babylon and Mesopotamia. They've forgotten their origins in Egypt. It is composed of the sun rising between two mountaintops at the horizon. It also symbolizes the setting sun. Thus, both the rising and setting sun. It is intended to mean that Joseph Smith is the founding Christ. And if you don't understand what a Christ is, what have you been doing in our religion? You've been washed and anointed in the temples. That came from Joseph Smith, not the endowment ceremony, just the initiatories. And Joseph Smith had those separate quorums. One for those who were washed as high priests, and those who were anointed as Christs, kings and queens. That's why the church is supposed to be the restoration of King David's kingdom. not the restoration of Jesus Christ's gospel Roman period church that failed. Because even the Gospels say that he was trying to restore the kingdom of David. That's why Matthew refers to him as a descendant of David through Joseph, who was not even his biological father. And so he fails to be the literal descendant of David in order to fulfill prophecy. So yeah, there are some problems with the gospel narrative. But that's the whole point, is that we're not Christian. Our Christ is not the Christian Christ created by Constantine. Constantine created Christ as a trinity. And Christians know this, but yet demand everybody accept that prior to must also be Trinity. And that's what disturbs me in our society today, is everybody's lying to everybody and demanding that everybody accept their lies. Both conservatives do it and liberals, as well as religion. And as we are supposed to be Latter-day Saints, Joseph Smith being the founder of the Latter Days, the Omega symbol of the sunstone also symbolizes the setting sun for the latter days. And as the sun, referring to David, the two D's from Paleo-Hebrew in the name David, when combined together, create the sun symbol, which the Jews still keep to this day. And this leads us to what our millennial sign is supposed to be changed to after the latter days are over with. And that's this symbol right here. The circle around the Star of David. That is the sun at noonday. The church at its peak. It is now crowned with glory. Celestial glory, even. No longer rising, it is now risen to the sun at noonday. It has ascended. Now remember that, because Nelson has told you that the symbol of the church is that God is built on the church with his name. And that the God is the Roman period Jesus, of whom he says we are a restoration of, and that Jesus is only resurrected. Never does he say that he has ascended. Now, which deity in Mormon theology never will ascend? Yeah, the one whose symbol is on the keystone of the Salt Lake Temple. He pulled a fast one on Mormons. And you also know he pulled a fast one on Mormons is because he can't define Israel. He can't translate it correctly. He gave you the white supremacist meaning of Israel. Let God prevail. The real meaning of Israel is the latter-day Messiah. Yah, who is the Hebrew God, Prince of God. El is God. The Y is for Yah, the Hebrew God. And then Sar, Prince. It's defined within Genesis. He didn't even need to consult Hebrew scholars. He claimed he had done all his research on the Latter-day Gathering. What do you think that was for? It's through the last days restoring Messiah of Joseph Smith's kingdom. But again, he's through Brigham, not Joseph. He's not restoring Joseph's church. He's hinge pointing to restore Brigham's church with polygamy, with murder, and covenant path of the endowment that was created by Brigham Young. They were told not to do that by the United States. The United States closed the church, shut them down, disincorporated them with the Edmunds-Tucker Act. The church then was able to reincorporate in 1923 as long as they didn't restore Brigham's organization. So they became evangelical Mormons. Christian. Well, now Nelson is restoring Brigham Young, redefining the inverted pentagram for you. It's a different Lucifer, but same God behind the symbol.